Hello guys, welcome to this lecture. In this lecture, we are going to look into variables and data type. Just a small introduction to variables and data types. Okay, so coming to variables, what are variables? Okay, so first of all, we will see what is variables, and then we will move to a demo of we'll take a variable, initialize a value, and we will just go for the demonstration later. But what is generally variables? Variables are the names, okay, are the names given to the memory block. Okay, so variables are the name given to the memory block where we store the data in main memory. Okay, in main memory. Okay, so variables are the names given to the memory block where we store the data in main memory. Okay, see, I always see, tell this example to people who want to understand about variables in a very deeper level. See, for example, whenever see, for example, let me just show you here. For example, okay, okay, so whenever, for example, if you are like typing a website name in the browser URL, and if you are just pressing on enter, you reach to a website, you get a page, actually web page actually. So what happens here is that whenever you enter for example google.com, there is something called as DNS, a lookup table. What you will do is you will go to the DNS, because see, this google.com or any website will be hosted in a particular server. That is, server means a system like a laptop, or a normal computer is even called as a server now. Okay, so there is some system which is there with Google, in which in that particular system only they have stored all the files of this google.com. So whenever you press on google.com, you have to communicate with the particular system, computer system or server in which the Google have stored all the files of this website. And then you have to request the server, and the server will give you with the response. That is, this web page is the response. So it will give you this web page as a response. Okay, fine. It's a request response system, which I don't want to go very deeper. But how to identify a particular computer system, because there are many websites available. Each and every website is hosted in a different computer system, and how you are going to identify a computer system. Okay, how you are going to identify? See, for example, if you want to identify me, then I have a name, and I have I have a designation. Then I work in a particular company, and also there is an address. That is, my home has a particular address through which you can identify me. Okay, similarly, how to identify, if you want to identify a house, then you get an address of the house. How to identify a particular computer system? There is something called as IP address, internet protocol. Okay, there is something called as internet protocol. Okay, using this internet protocol, using this IP, we will be finding, this IP is called as the address of a computer. This IP is literally the address of a computer. Okay, fine. And in this, there are two kinds of address, that is, two kinds of IP address available. One is the private IP address, the other one is a public IP address. Okay, so what is a private IP addresses? Private IP address means, for example, let me tell you, suppose if you are in your company, or if you are in a house, you have a Wi-Fi connection, Wi-Fi internet connection. So what you will do is you will connect to that particular Wi-Fi connection. See, you will not, there is no internet available on that particular Wi-Fi, only that Wi-Fi is switched on without any internet connection. So let me consider that there are 10 systems which is connected to a single network, that is single Wi-Fi. So now if you want to identify a system in that particular local network that you have created, that is, if you are connected to a particular local connection, that is local network, like that's the Wi-Fi that I'm saying, then if you want to identify your system among that local network, then there is a IP address given to you. That IP address is called as private IP address. No, suppose If you are connecting to internet, and anybody in the world who is connected to internet, if they want to identify your system, then you have another IP address called as public IP. So if I want to connect to the google.com server, then that server, that is google.com server in the sense, do google.com computer system, and that computer system will have a public IP using which anybody will be able to identify that particular server. Okay, so now I have found that IP, that public IP, and I'm going to connect it. So that public IP, using that public IP only you are going to connect. But IP, if you see, IP is like, for example, 192.168.1.1. It is actually, there are 4 parts in IP address: part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4. Each and every part can have maximum of 3 digits, that is between 0 to 255. Okay, so it is going to be in the range of 0 to 255. So this is going to be the IP format, internet protocol format. So it is very hard to remember this IP address because it is full of numbers. Okay, if there are 100 websites available, you will not be able to remember 100 such IP address. It's very difficult to remember it. For that purpose, what they started to do it, they started to give a domain name for every server instead of IP address. Instead of identifying a particular website through IP address, they have started giving a domain name. That domain name is what called as google.com, hackerrank.com, hackerearth.com, codification.in. So these are all the domain names given to a particular system, that is for a particular IP address. So IP address is also having another domain name also, and that the table which stores 2 rows. That's, see, there is a table which has 2 columns, and that 2 column, one column is IP address, the another column is the corresponding domain names, and that particular table is what called as domain name server, that is DNS. Google is having its own DNS table in the IP address 8.8.8.8. I think we need not to go very deep into those things, but for the easy purpose, see, your system is having a number oriented identification which is very hard to remember. So we are giving an alternate name to that particular IP to for humans, to make it very easy and simple for humans to remember. Same thing is done here in the variables also. Whenever you wanted a data to be stored in your memory, every memory will be having a specific address which is in the format of hexadecimal. Okay, so whenever you want to store a data in a memory block, see, every memory block, a single memory block means it is like 1 byte. 1 byte of memory is called as a single memory block, and every memory block will be having a address, and that address, memory address, is in the form of hexadecimal representation. 16-digit hexadecimal representation, sorry, it's a 16-digit, okay, hexadecimal representation. Okay, it is a 16-digit hexadecimal representation. So again, now let me tell you, it is very hard to remember that 16-digit hexadecimal representation. So what computer architectures have planned is, they have planned to give a name to this address, that is to the 16-digit hexadecimal address. That is what called as variable names. Okay, right? So if I store a value in a particular memory block, instead of calling that memory block using a 16-digit hexadecimal value, address value, I am calling it with the help of a variable name, with a name, and that name is what called as variables. Fine. So now I think I have made a very big story, but I want you to understand it in the core level. Actually, that is the reason that I have taken you to a big story, to make you understand what is exactly variables, why we require something called as variables. Okay, fine. Next, first of all, let me take a very simple data type, a simple data type called as integer, to make you understand how to declare a variable, how to declare a variable, how to initialize a value to a variable. To make you understand those things, let us first of all introduce you to the data type called as integer, that is whole numbers like 5, 6, 10, 20, 21, 22. So these discrete numbers can be called as integers. Okay, how to define an integer? With the help of the data type, you have a keyword called as int. Using this keyword, you can define a particular variable, which, for example, my first number. Okay, my first number is equal. Okay, first of all, my first number. So int is a keyword which is used to define that a particular variable has the ability to store what kind of data actually. So this is a variable which is capable of storing a integer value. Now you can ask me, what is the necessity in specifying the data type? Because each and every data type has a different memory consumption. Integer might take, we are not seeing about the total memory now. We will see that in the next part. But now what I wanted to convey is that, for example, let me tell you that if integer is going to take 4 bytes, then there is string which like strings, each and every character will be taking 2 bytes. Okay, then if you go to double, it will be taking 8 bytes. So each and every data type is going to consume a different amount of memory. So okay, so what happens is actually we need to generally specify the data type for the memory allocation purpose, because when you specify integer, okay, integer have to take 4 bytes, so I need to allocate 4 bytes for this particular variable. If you specify float, then yes, okay, now float will take also 4 bytes, so I need to allocate 4 bytes of memory. So the system will understand how much memory to be allocated to a particular variable with the help of this data type that we are going to specify. That is the main reason why we have to specify the data type. Also, to track the behavior of the variable, also we require the help of specifying the data type of a variable. Okay, fine. So we are going to initialize a particular value. How to initialize? Using an assignment operator called as equal to, and I am going to initialize either 5 or 15 or 11 or 12, but a whole number we will be declaring. For example, initializing. So I am going to initialize the number called as 12 to the variable called as my first number. Okay, fine. So now this entire statement can be also, this fifth line statement can also be called as an expression. Okay, expression. So assigning a value to a variable is also a general basic expression. Generally, what is expression? Expression is like we refer to a mathematical expression. Mathematical expression in the sense that the constants and operators are what generally called as expression. So there is a separate section available for expression in the future classes. So we will see very brief about how to write expression. Is there any precedence available, and is there any rules to define expression? All these things about expression we will see in the separate section that is going to come in the future classes, right? So fine. So now what we are going to do is, after initializing a integer value to the variable, now it is time for us to print the number. Whatever number we have assigned to that variable, we are going to print it with the help of the variable. We also already know that in the previous the concept I have taught you, that there exists something called a system dot out dot print ln. Okay, it's not capital P, it is small lowercase p. It's not uppercase character called P, it is small lowercase character P. So we need to be very conscious about either the lowercase we are using or uppercase we are using, because I have made it very clear that keywords in Java are case sensitive. Okay, fine. So we are just going to simply print off the number my first number. Okay, fine. So let me save this file, and okay, let me just save this file, and we find a run option here. So we'll just click on the run option. Okay, so you are able to see that the number called as 12 is being printed here in the console. Okay, so everything looks fine. Okay, so what we have done in this function, done in this lecture, the important thing that we have done in this lecture is we started with the variables. What is variables? I've given you a big story of what is exactly variables and why do we require this variable. Okay, I have just compared you with the websites actually, right? So we are not actually, humans are not able to remember a very big numbers in mind. So instead of specifying a numbers, we are giving alternate names in English. Okay, fine. So now here, whenever you want to print a variable, then there should be no double quotes in front of the variable and in the rear end also. So if you are providing a double quotes, enclosing it in a double quote, then it is called as a string. It is not called as a variable. So variable should not be inside a double quote. Variable should be without double quote. If it is a string, then only you should delimit it inside a double quote. Okay, fine. Okay, so in the upcoming section, we will be looking into primitive data types, the very important primitive data types that takes place in Java. So let me make a clear list of what are all the primitive data types available, and then we will just start looking into all the data types one after the other. Okay, so primitive data types. Coming to primitive data types, the very first important primitive data type is integer. Okay, the second important primitive data type is going to be Boolean data type. The next one is going to be byte. Okay, the next data type, primitive data type, is going to be char. Okay, the next important the primitive data type is short. Okay, so the next important data type is going to be, primitive data type is going to be long. Okay, then the next is going to be float, and the last one is going to be actually double. So you have float and also you are going to have double. So these are all the important primitive data types that you are going to have a look at. So integer, Boolean, byte, character, short, long, float, and double. These are the primitive data types. I'm not telling these are the only data types available. These are the basic and primitive data types available in Java. First of all, we will take a look at each and every primitive data types, and then we will enter into the further concepts of Java. Right, guys? Okay.